So they're just now reporting that Jacob Blake is in handcuffs in his hospital bed. The guy that I've been ranting about for the last couple of days.
He's the guy that's paralyzed?
Yeah.
Where's he gonna go?
So you're getting into the car, and to prevent you from going away, I'm going to shoot you 7 times in the back. And then, just in case you don't get away after you're paralyzed from those 7 shots in the back, I'm going to handcuff you to the hospital bed. I memean, they must think that their black people are some superpowered motherfuckers for all of this shit. What the fuck? This is so infuriating. What the fuck are they thinking?
They're not.
Clearly. Why would they put him in handcuffs? And so I'm reading it here, and it says that Jacob Blake, who remains hospitalized after sustaining multiple injuries, is now handcuffed to his bed, his family said. Blake's uncle told CNN on Thursday that Blake's father visited the Wauwatosa, Wisconsin hospital, where his son is recovering from at least one surgery. He was heartbroken to see that his son was handcuffed. This is an insult to injury, Justin Blake. Justin Blake, the uncle of the victim, said he's paralyzed and can't walk, and they have him handcuffed to the bed. Fucking why? I added the fucking. When asked about why Blake was being handcuffed, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers said that he couldn't imagine the reason behind it. He says, I would have no personal understanding why that would be necessary. He goes on to say that I would hope that we would be able to find a better way to help him in recovering. That seems counterintuitive. It seems to be bad medicine. It's not the medicine. It's not the doctors. That's not the problem here. It's the fucking cops. Doctors don't put medicine doesn't put people in handcuffs. Right. This is, oh my God. This is the Higher Minds podcast. I'm Papa Dog.
I'm Katie.
How you feeling, Katie?
Welcome. I am feeling.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy week.
You look nice and happy and sparkly tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shower some clean.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tonight,
How are you?
I'm me. I mean, this has been an adventure, getting this episode out. Yeah.
Yes, it has.
I am aggravated with the world. With America at least. I'm aggravated with politics. So I'm aggravated with our topic tonight. Not just the whole getting it out, but the subject is fucking horrible. This is a tough one. And we've had to do. This is the 3rd time we're doing this, just because of technical reasons and stuff. We'll get better at it in the very near future. But yeah, I don't know. It having to do this a 3rd time. It's still after going over the details as many times as we have. It's still shocking every time I hear them.
Yes. I get sick every time. Certain parts are just unsavory for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were talking about that guy in England who was going crazy because so many pizzas were being sent to his house?
Yes, the pizza deliveries. I do.
You want to hear about the guy who sent it to him?
Yes, I really do.
Okay, so I'm just kidding. This is not the guy that sent it to him, but a New Jersey man. This is from the New York Post. A New Jersey man accused of calling in thousands of dollars worth of bogus food orders during the coronavirus pandemic, including some he claimed were for cops, has been arrested. Police said. Sudeep Katani, 34, of Kendall Park in South Brunswick Township, was busted Tuesday, some 4 months after he was initially charged with theft for exploding several New Jersey pizzerias and restaurants. Using fake phone numbers, Katani made several hundred calls to pizzerias in South Brunswick, as well as other pizza joints and restaurants in Montgomery, Plainsboro, and West Windsor between mid-January and early April, costing them several $1,000s in total losses. So, I mean...
Yeah, what a douche.
I appreciate the prank. The prank is... I like it. A good prank doesn't cost anybody. Pandemic. No. Well, and a good prank doesn't cost anybody money, doesn't injure anybody.
Yes.
It hurts egos, but that's about it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So That would happen. What else is happening? And this is an interesting article that I found just a few minutes ago. Interesting in a bad way. This is not cool.
Oh man.
So an employee was arrested. This is from SacB.com. I think it's the Sacramento Bee. An employee was arrested after Arizona police said he plotted to kidnap his boss's 12-year-old son and hold him for ransom. Lance Rohrer, 59, was arrested on Wednesday for suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and conspiracy to commit theft by extortion, according to AZ Family, citing the Mesa Police Department. The boy is the son of the owner of the car dealership where he worked. Police said they knew for a month that Rohrer could be plotting something, and investigators have numerous auto recordings of Rohrer speaking to another person actively planning the abduction, according to AZ Family. Rohrer was heard multiple times talking about killing the kid and being okay with it if the abduction plans did not work. Officials said Rohrer planned an abduction for a ransom of $2 million and met an undercover detective, according to the station. Rohrer allegedly bought 3 burner phones to plot the kidnapping. It goes on to say that he absolutely would have planned to kill the child if it didn't go on, and what a motherfucker.
Wow. What the heck? What is going on with the world?
So we looked up some motherfuckers, and I want to tell you where we found information on looking them up.
Yep.
I got my information from nzherald.co.nz, people.com, documents.latimes.com, where I got People of the State of California versus Martin Weiss, reuters.com, thesun.com, wikipedia.org, YouTube, where I got Corey Haim, Me, Myself, and I, and Corey Haim's mom talks to Dr. Oz. Thank you, everybody, for your content. Where'd you get?
Yeah. I have a long list too. Vice.com, Distractify.com, foreignpolicy.com, meall.com, Wikipedia, YouTube, TVOvermind.com, Dr. Oz Show, little clip from that. How many times do I tell this joke? Choreography.
Choreography.
It's
pie charts and
Oh crap. It was funny the first and second time so much.
No, I have some written down jokes too that you're going to hear again.
Yes. Because damn it, we're funny the first time.
Yes. And we stick to the script every single time.
We sure do.
Yes.
Facts are facts. Funny is funny. Yeah. And that's my list.
All right. So we are going to go over again some corrections, some shames of mine that I'm going to repeat again, making me feel all that much
Shame
better.
him.
So in our Merlin episode, there were a couple of factual errors, one of which was bugging me all week from 3-5 weeks ago, whatever. That I mixed up the word chimera for Cambrian when describing Merlin's legend, and
terrible.
You said that it was the documentary that Feldman did was called My Truth, The Rape of Two Corys, and I said it was the story of two Corys, and you were correct. It was My Truth, The Rape of Two Corys.
I'd love to be right about weird things like this. Just kidding. I wish I wasn't right.
A couple of disclaimers about the following content. There's nothing in the following research which directly corroborates Feldman's accounts exactly. However, these accounts do corroborate patterns of behaviors of these men. But in the hands of a competent lawyer, the difference between corroboration of behavior and corroboration of an incident are vastly different things. So much so that legally, the events that Feldman described did not happen. That is not what we believe. Just saying that legally. Also, there are lots of details that are disturbing. Avert your sensitive ears if you are sensitive to hearing about the abuse of a child. We don't like it. We didn't like reading it. We don't like saying it. But it is important, we feel, at least I feel, to be as at least clinically descriptive in describing some of these crimes, because if you don't do that, it has a way of whitewashing the facts and diminishing the the effect that it had on the victims' lives.
Yes. If you don't call it what it is, you don't realize the severity of it.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
And yeah, it's horrible, and it's obviously we went over it in the last episode. It's definitely affected his entire life. His entire being is completely altered from what it would have been had this not happened.
And those around him, it's a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
So,
one more thing I want to mention. Now, the research that we've done and everything that we're about to talk about falls under the purview of QAnon conspiracies. We are not supporter of QAnon conspiracies. I'm saying we collectively, but we're not saying that that's necessarily wrong. The difference between what we're saying and as opposed to what Q is trying to do, Q is strictly attacking the Hollywood elite pedophiles and not really attacking or not bringing attention to other spheres of child sex rings. You're shaking your head.
I've read into it, and that's not true.
No?
No, it's a pretty broad scope of both sides. It is definitely not right wing. I think maybe they're highlighting a lot of that, but it is definitely not only accusing leftists. If that's kind of, I feel like how that came across a little bit. I'm not saying I agree with all of it. I'm just saying it definitely is not.
Perhaps
the whole thing isn't even about just sex trafficking. This just touched on it because it is some things that they have touched on. And when Corey made this whole thing about kind of coming out, he referenced QAnon and Q. So I feel like it kind of got tied into that much more than even necessary. So just my 2 cents about the whole thing. Okay. It is definitely not one-sided by any means.
Okay. I okay with being corrected with that. I don't have an argument for that. Other than to say, I know that there are a few public Q supporters that are on this list. Not this list, but next week's list. So that's I'm trying to separate this from that group.
Yeah, and it really has nothing to do with it, other than sex trafficking is talked about in both.
Yes.
And yeah. So yeah.
Anyway. Enough.
Here we go.
Ado. You know who we are. Yeah. You know what we're about to do. We know what we're about to say. Corey Feldman to the accused. Katie, take it away.
Here we go. Okay, so born Cloyd John Grissom.
Cloyd. That's a stupid name. No, his parents knew that he was going to be a dumbass fucker.
They set him up for failure. Not even Floyd. They went with Cloyd. For creep. Maybe they knew subconsciously. Anyways, born May 31st to 62 in Alaska, but grew up in Arizona. He was a popular actor in the 80s. He actually only did 2 movies, License to Drive and Dream a Little Dream. In both films, John Grissom worked with the 2 Coreys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. At that time, Corey's just 15, so I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's always worth mentioning their children. They were children when this happened, because I think when they think that name now, they think of Corey now, and it's so.
I definitely, when I think of the Coreys, I definitely think of the Lost Boys. That's the first place that my head goes to.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was on the fence with watching all those things. I just watched that, so.
Yeah.
So Feldman said that his own father, Bob Feldman, hired Grissom to work on his management team. According to an excerpt from his book, Feldman wrote that Grissom got along with him so well that he felt as if he'd been studied by the actor because he was copying him. Just that spot on. So it actually reads, by late 1986, early 1987, my father had hired a man I'll call Ron Grissom because he could not use their real names in the book. The lawyers made him change that.
Liability laws or libel laws?
Yeah. So he says, a young, good-looking guy in his early 20s to work with the New Talent Enterprises, to work in the offices there. Every time I walked across the street to talk business with my father, Ron would staunch over and manage to say something outrageously funny We hit it off immediately. It was almost eerie how similar we were. It was if he had studied me and was copying my every move.
Creepy. Isn't it like in
So
flirting
he
and
probably had.
and courting and stuff that's called mimicking?
Yeah. Yeah. It's also called a predator.
Yeah.
So Feldman
Wait, is the
said that
courteur
they
in the courtier relationship the predator then? Is that what you're saying? Never mind. Go ahead.
Yes, so Feldman said that they continued to hang out together, and Grissom, who introduced him to cocaine and other hard drugs, and before long began making moves on him after drugging him up. So, saying in the book, quote, he grabbed my hand and led me into my father's room. He pushed me on the bed and took me in his mouth.
Oh, every time. Oh, God.
I know.
Damn. I hate that you said that the third time.
I do too.
That's horrible.
I was immediately revolted, but I tried to tough it out. I told myself I could do it, that a lot of other people were doing it, and that I should stop fighting and go with the flow. I ignored the nausea that gripped my stomach and tried to imagine that I was somewhere else, that it wasn't real, that it wasn't happening.
And we'll learn later that this is an evolved thought. Like, this has happened to him before, and he had resisted. And not necessarily from this guy, although I'm not saying it wasn't from this guy, because I just don't know those kind of details. But with other people for sure. And it's fucked up that he was gradually nudged into accepting this activity.
Yeah, like it was just common knowledge what you did. So this John Grissom guy, in 2001 was arrested for child abuse of a 14 to 15-year-old child and was imprisoned in 2003 due to his third time. I should have done it. Due to his refugee status, Grissom was not a registered sex offender within the state, but according to Megan's law, it was mandatory for sex offenders to register with the state. So he's a sketchy guy. Arrested in Utah on March 12th of 95 for other various criminal charges, including credit card theft, using illegal means of transport, and resisting arrest. And in 2000, he spent 3 months in Arizona jail for these charges.
So he doesn't have the affliction of being a pedophile. Now, I'm not justifying pedophilia at all, but there is a pretty credible school of thought that pedophilia is an illness for which I think the cure is probably gunfire or just regular fire or rope or something. But that's not the case with this guy. He wasn't sick. He was just a fucking asshole. He was just
jerk,
a disgusting demon man.
Entitled. He sounds entitled too.
Yeah.
Richness, I guess. Does that, yeah. So Feldman claims that he had reported this to the San Diego Police Department. However, the police
Whale's
denies the
Vagina
claim.
Police Department.
San Diego. Yeah. So
you listeners, did you hear that very real laugh that she just laughed? That's because that was the first time that she'd heard that joke, and she was not expecting me to say a whale's vagina for sure.
Just kidding. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna work on my fake laugh better. Just kidding.
No, I was kind of convinced. That was very good. That was very good.
I'm used to fake laughing at my kid all the time. Like when you're not really listening, kind of just fake laughs in hopes.
Now you're making me wonder if I'm actually as funny as I am. Jeez.
I'm so sorry.
Is my sense of humor as big as I think it is?
I do just love the laugh. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So maybe you're real funny. So as a result, they obviously could not arrest John Grissom. Some people even doubted the intentions of Corey Feldman. So what a bummer that it wasn't like I hate to say not handled the right way. I don't know. It just feels like everyone could have maybe like took a step, took another look. You know what I mean?
So
To seek some real justice and
well, yeah, but what we're getting into, or what we'll get into next week, is that this was an organization. This was an organized organization. There was money exchanging hands with
yes.
this, not
Oh
necessarily with the
yeah.
rape of these kids, but it was definitely a perk of the business for these predators. And
Yes.
so, if you were,
And I
if
do think there's an exchange of funds for that. Not maybe in their situation, but I do think that is a thing.
maybe not monetary funds, but maybe monetary funds, sure, but maybe not monetary funds. It doesn't matter if somebody benefits from it, other than if somebody not the predator benefits from it in any way, then it's still a sale. Um,
Yeah.
and but anyway, so in addition to that being industry, it's also an integral part of the benefit system of a the the Hollywood industry, which everybody's making money off of it, including the police, the cops, and everything. And so, very few people who weren't involved, and they didn't involve people who could do anything about it. But very few people who could do anything about it were motivated to do anything about it, because a lot of people would lose
Yeah.
out.
And I truly think that people in that business might genuinely believe that's just part of the club. You know what I mean? Like maybe it is so common that it's as bad as it is. It's just, hey, this level of success comes with certain things, and this is one of them. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
just
mean?
kind of
Like it almost
assumed.
feels that nonchalant.
Yeah, I just kind of assume with the advent of the moving pictures and the flappers and all that back in the 20s and 30s and stuff, that yeah, it's the culture that that entertainment business was born into, and that's just the way that it
Hmm.
evolved. And of course,
That's how it's
back then,
treated.
yeah, child labor, child sex trafficking, it wasn't looked at as
Not
any
at
worse
all.
than adult.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. So yeah. I did find the state of California Department of Justice of the Attorney General site lists Grissom as a registered sex offender, and his listed convictions include oral copulation with a minor under 16 and
It's
lewd
gross.
or third time, and I still don't remember how to say this word.
Oh, lewd and lascivious.
Lascivious. What? Well, I don't even remember what I want to say it
It's
as.
like choreography.
Yeah, it's
Lascivious.
wrong. That's what it is. And then we decided maybe there should be a drinking game that every time Katie can't pronounce a word right, you take a drink and then you all have alcohol poisoning. Just kidding.
By the time we announce our show,
So sorry
she's not that
about
bad.
that.
You're not that bad.
Maybe like not do that.
You have wonderful diction.
So that with a child 14 to 15. So that's two separate occurrences that he at least was like caught and convicted of. So yucky,
Which is three too many.
yucky.
Because
Yeah.
if you're not if you're not
So
taking it out of the world, you're not doing
that's
enough.
right. And that's why I feel like honestly, like I stay out of a lot of things because I am a peaceful person. I just have too much love in my heart to fight with anybody. There's not many things that I feel like are worth argument. I don't
Yes.
know. But I feel like children is something I can't not say something about. You know what I mean?
For
I
the
don't know.
kids.
It just
I
feels
get it.
different.
Absolutely.
It is.
I mean, and being a parent,
Even if you don't have kids, I think you should see them as just so vulnerable, so innocent. Like those are babies. They don't know no better than what the environment they're put in, and that is so sad. Oh sorry. So apparently John Grissom is living in Sinaloa.
Sinaloa. Yeah, that was right.
Sinaloa. Okay, I was close. Sinaloa in Mexico,
Yeah.
which you have taught me 3 times now, is a big cartel city in Mexico, and so that screams rifles and guns and drugs and kids and slave labor and interesting choice of town. So
Yeah. I'm
he's kept.
picturing. You ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn? That biker bar that they go to?
No.
Okay. It's a biker
I'll
bar
add it to
full
my
of
list.
full of debauchery and hedonism in Mexico. And so I just imagine that's where he's walking around right now, being a
Probably.
fucking
Weirdo.
lech.
Yeah. Yes, probably. So
My grandmother
he
used to say
appears-
lech, but I think it's appropriate for this.
So he has kept a public social media presence. It says on MySpace and Facebook. And he's posted pictures of him with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim from time that he worked with them. And it says how Corey Feldman is just particularly anguished that the man who he has not kept secret abused him would flaunt their previous working relationship like that after being like publicly accused of that.
That's
Like
just
it just
tasteless.
feels like just a little turn of the knife, a little fuck you, like he's just a cringe.
It's a power move is what it is. And that's what you were saying. It was
and
about
that the whole thing is
Freud
to
said,
feel like you have to do that with a child I have to have some sort of dominance that you don't even feel with someone remotely close to your age. That speaks to you,
right?
Nobody else,
right? I mean, Freud said that everything was about sex except for sex, and yeah.
So it says he's been living in Mexico for 10 years. Why'd you flee? You're a piece of shit. Boo. And yeah, so people have kind of lit him up on social media because Corey has a pretty strong following though. So
I mean, I like Corey. I was rough on him in the last episode, but I mean, I still really dig his work. I mean, even I'm not going to go out and get his album. Sorry, Mr. Feldman.
No, his music career wasn't for me, but his acting career certainly was.
Absolutely. Even still, like I like the Lost Boys too. He brought back Edward Frog, and
he's good at what he does, and honestly, it's all he really knows. And I think it's just he's comfortable there, and maybe that's where really the only place he knows to be. He doesn't know anything different his entire life.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Even if like that's I don't know how he feels about it, but I like it.
Hey.
He brings joy to my life. And he's brought tons of anguish. About a week's worth of anguish. Actually, this is going to end up being about 3 weeks of anguish Mr. Feldman brought me. But
we're just trying to hashtag I stand with Corey.
Hashtag we stand with Corey.
So that's John Grissom.
That is John Grissom. Is that Rutabaga?
That's Rutabaga.
That is an inside joke that you will learn when you listen to the episode that won't air. Marty Weiss.
Second attempt. Sorry.
That's fine. Marty Weiss was a child manager in Hollywood who in 2012 was sentenced on child molestation charges. He spent 6 months in jail and was made to sign the sex offenders register. Paula Dorn, co-founder of the nonprofit child talent support organization Biz Parents Foundation, told The Wrap that her group has received second or third-hand complaints for many years about Weiss, but that we have never had any proof about anything actionable. And it sucks that the burden of proof is so fucking high. It's unrealistically high.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that it's gone on for so many years and it's been so pervasive, especially among the powerful, because they make that burden of proof so high. And it's that in all defenses, there's like a textbook that they all go to. They all blame the person. They all blame the character of the person. I mean, we all know exactly what somebody is going to say about an accuser every single time now.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me if there were more victims, Dorn added. He used to hit on Corey Haim all the time, noted Scott Carlson, manager of former child actor Corey Feldman. Corey and I both knew him. Weiss often blurred the lines between professional and personal behavior, according to Dorn. In addition to the sleepovers, he also took road trips with the underage clients who were not accompanied by their parents. He would have sleepovers and was always known for being very social with his clients, Dorn said. The way they say blurred the lines is used in this description indicates to me that he was probably an adept groomer. The following charges were not related to Feldman or Haim, but are a public record of his activities to which he pled not guilty. Weiss pleaded not guilty to 8 counts of lewd acts with a child and sodomy after an 18-year-old former client told police that he had abused him 30 to 40 times from 2005 to 2008. From the people of the state of California v. Martin Weiss, on or between March 1st, 2005 and June 21st, 2005, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of lewd act upon a child, counts 1 and 2, in violation of Penal Code Section 288. What am I about to say? Penal. A felony was committed by Marty Weiss, who did willfully, unlawfully, and lewdly commit a lewd and lascivious act upon and with the body and certain parts and members thereof, of redacted for the protection of the child, a child under the age of 14 years, so he was prepubescent, with the intent of arousing, appealing to, and gratifying the lust, passions, and sexual desires of the said defendant and the said child. Oh, that's fucking gross. I don't like that.
It is.
Yeah. And they decided to rub it in by using the words lust and passions being synonyms.
Yeah. Paints a picture.
Yeah, thanks, court. Count 3 includes the above, but adds, by use of force, violence, duress, menace, and threat of great bodily harm. This count uses the word and instead of or, which means that he forcefully made that little kid do what he wanted against his will. He intentionally hurt the kid while doing it, and then threatened him afterward. Counts 4 and 5 add, while the defendant resided with and had recurring access to the child. What the fuck? Ugh. Counts 6, 7, and 8 state, a felony was committed by Martin Weiss, who did unlawfully, being over the age of 21 years, participate in an act of sodomy with redacted for the protection of the child, person under that age of 16 years. Now, in some locations, the legal definition of sodomy is vaguely defined as not traditional sexual intercourse, which could include a variety of acts, but that's probably not here. He's a fucking sicko. And I'm guessing, since he lived with him, and had recurring access, and he was probably some sort of like step-parent or parental figure or something, but we won't know because the way that these laws are, I mean, it's not like he's not known, but the way that these laws are written, and I guess for good reason, it does protect the child. So, and that kid doesn't want to walk around with a stigma all his life, like fucking Corey Haim or Corey Feldman. Well, Haim too. I mean, he's walked around with that stigma pretty much all his life. Look where he is. I mean, I guess he's doing okay now. Okay, I guess. But yeah, anyway.
Loosely.
Yeah. So he's a convicted felon. He's a registered sex offender, and he had to submit to an STD test and give the results to the victim's family.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't it suck if anything came back positive?
I mean, I can't imagine.
I know the castration isn't considered a legal form of punishment, but the founders did write a living document, and the people can change that shit if a predator gives a child an STD. So, yes, we can, people. Let's change that law. Castration. Yes. And then immediate impalement. Dracul style. Rutabaga.
Oh, okay. Well, I accidentally hit the button on the side of my computer.
Oh no! When I said that.
Yes.
Are you recording to your computer? Is it still recording? Are you still recording?
Oh yeah. I'm recording on this guy still.
Oh, good.
But it takes so long to start back up.
Oh, and you get your notes.
Sorry.
On your computer.
Yeah. I'm still trying to do as much on here as I can. Yeah. And either way, I couldn't print them out. Because I don't do that. Okay. So, where's...
Senor Alfie. Right?
Okay, hold on just a second. Yes.
Hold on.
There we go.
Darby.
All
cool
right.
your effing jets.
Alfie Hoffman.
Gross little man. There's pictures of him on our website and on our social medias. Stupid name. Another stupid name. Why do these guys have stupid names? Because they're fucking stupid. Their parents knew it at birth.
Yeah. So Feldman says he was 12 years old when he first met Soda Pop Club owner Alfie Hoffman, according to an interview that he did on Dr. Oz show.
Soda Pop Club.
The venue. Soda Pop Club.
That's very kid-friendly, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Innocent sounding? It's not like Whiskey Club. The Anal
Whiskey
Probe Club,
boots.
which is probably what it should have been called.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, it was horrible. Yeah.
Ugh. So the venue was a private dance club for child stars in Hollywood in the 1980s. It's weird.
Kids club.
We talked about how my childhood was not adventurous, and so I've never been to a child's club. I didn't realize that was like a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's really weird to me.
Yeah, no.
We went roller skating, like that feels club enough.
I used to love roller skating.
I
still
went
like
every
roller
Sunday
skating.
night. Okay, so fun fact about me, I used to love roller skating too. We went all the time, and I wanted to be in the roller derby. And I fell off that cliff and broke my back. And I'm not afraid of heights, but I am terrified of short falls like that. And I can't fuck around with roller skates anymore. It really messes with me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Something about falling on your tailbone gives me extreme anxiety.
That is less fun than it is traumatic.
Yeah, maybe.
Traumatic fact about Katie.
Traumatic
facts
fact.
about Katie.
She's short.
Because she broke her back. I mean, she used to be 6 feet.
I used to be a half-inch taller. That's what I know. So, Corey said, quote, "He came to my house to pick me up in his car, and I'd heard rumors that he threw the coolest parties in town."
Gee willikers.
Sounds like a kid.
Yeah. These were the cool
kids. I said
kids.
it the first 2 times. I'm going to say it again. I'm just going to point it out. Every time they talk, it reiterated the fact that they're children. They sound like children. They act like children.
Alfie's one of the cool kids, and he invited me to his party, and it's going to be a blast.
It was the place to be. Feldman continued on the show. He was very connected, and he was the son of Bobby Hoffman, who was the top casting director at the time for one of the major studios. And I had jotted down, by top, we mean like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy. So like the heavy hitters of the time, like it's...
And so somebody that...
It's connection.
Yeah, absolutely would want to be in a position of influence.
Yeah, yeah. And has some heavy bargaining. So,
and therefore, by extension, his son would also have the same attraction.
Yeah. It said, he went on to say, when you got an invite to go to Bobby Hoffman's private party, this was a very big thing. And the fact that his son was coming to pick me up himself was a very big thing. My mom ushered me to the car and said, "Go have fun." So Feldman said, some of the rising stars included Alyssa Milano, Tori Spelling, Christina Applegate, and obviously Corey Haim were, the invited guests at these elaborate parties. Tweeting out in 2017, "Please don't bash Alyssa Milano. She may not have been a victim of these guys. They liked boys, but hashtag I stand with Corey tweet wouldn't hurt." And Alyssa retweeted, "I'm sorry anyone ever hurt you."
Excuse me.
"I'm sorry anyone ever hurt you. It kills me. Maybe in my attempt to protect myself, I was blind to what was happening to you. Hashtag I stand with Corey." So
that is
because I think his
reasonable response. I mean, she is one of the leaders of Me Too, of the Me Too movement, and she did go through. She grew up at the same time with the same people, So yeah,
they were all subjected to it, and she obviously, by saying maybe in my attempt to protect myself, I feel like that heavily insinuates she knew she needed to protect herself, because she so much so that she didn't notice what was other people said common knowledge. So
I believe her story is out there about her abuse, but I'm not. I don't know that for sure. I haven't looked it up. I just know that she's very vocal about it.
Yeah. So he says that his first few trips to Alfie's were fairly innocent, but the parties were frequented by a powerful group of pedophiles, allegedly including Sheen.
It seems like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Powerful pedophiles. That's just disgusting. Anyway, please.
It's dumb. That's for sure.
It's dumb. Your name is stupid.
Dumb. Totally dumb.
Why would your parents even name you that? It's so dumb.
we need. Okay, so one evening Feldman recalled passing out and waking up to find porn playing on a screen, and said, "I was like, man, I'm really
You say
tired."
corn, like
I
freak on a
rem-
leash? Feeling like a freak.
Porn, yeah.
Porn. Oh.
Porn.
I thought you said corn, like
evening-
Korn. Never mind.
No. Porn. Peter.
Because I was going to
Porn.
attack your timing. That's worse. I'm not going to attack anything here. All right.
So he said, I was like, man, I'm really tired. I remember I could
Do you think
barely
Freak
walk.
Unleashed says what he's talking about? I'm going to erase that. No, I can't make jokes like that. That's getting erased. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to maybe just start this little part over.
Yes.
So
Corn.
One evening, Feldman recalled passing out and waking up to find porn playing on a screen. He said to Dr. Oz, man, I'm really tired. I remember I could barely walk. I don't know what I was given at that time, but I know that I was really out of it. He said that Alfie started doing the same things to me that John Grissom had done. I kind of woke up in the middle of it and I freaked out and threw him off me and I ran home. Alfie never responded to those allegations against him in 2018. Obviously kind of leading that he's just not going to say anything. Like, he's going to lay low. And it was really hard to find much information on Alfie or his dad. A little easier because he had such a big career, but damn, that was hard to like find birthdays and stuff.
I want to point out that reaction, a knee-jerk reaction is usually very telling about a person's underlying psyche, and that particular reaction to that being in that situation, jumping up, slight fight, quick flight, is very clearly that of somebody who does not want any part of this, is not interested in this, is by all means scared by this, and he very well should be. I mean, that's not.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, so
that be happening to you.
It's not like he was probably not giving off any vibes. Not that vibes is the right. That's not what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? He was probably not portraying himself as somebody who was open to the idea. That's also not what I'm trying to say either. I'm going to cut all this out. Fuck it. I'm going to cut that shit out. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say.
Erase.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, not much, like I said, not much known about him. A couple outlets kind of say that Alfie is still alive, but I couldn't find anything to really verify.
Okay, I know what I was about to say. So, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So what I was trying to say is that that being his reaction, he clearly wasn't gay, and so these assaults on him being on somebody who isn't gay normally is extra traumatic. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, definitely traumatic no matter what. I can't stomach the thought.
It doesn't make it any less. It's still rape is rape no matter if that's your internal sexuality or not. It's
oh Lord.
But it causes deeper. It causes more conflict when developing and trying to process the trauma.
So it says Alfie was kind of given his father's casting director business, but he kind of just pitted it away. He didn't do a very good job with it. And Bobby Hoffman died in 93, I believe. Yeah, in December of 1993. And only because of his credibility did Alfie really have any kind of leg to stand on. And Corey says that's actually why he felt like he could trust Alfie in the first place, just because of who his dad was. So Alfie's Soda Pop Club shut its doors in 1989. The entrepreneur has largely stayed out of the public eye, like I said. So before Corey Haim died, he shared his own thoughts with Alfie with an interview with Vice. And he said, I don't think he was a good person at all. As far as Alfie goes, well, I'm not going to say it now because people do change. I went through my time too. I lost complete respect for Alfie Hoffman. He's a piece of shit, a user. He had us all. No, he had all of us and thought he was the shit. So he had all of us. That reads heavy.
That's a phrase that comes up in other people's description of their experience having the Corys.
Yeah.
And like it was so casual. It was so casual that it became a saying.
Yeah, and that's terrible. I mean, I think it's very. I'm very curious why it's so scrubbed. Why people who, I mean, I couldn't find hardly anything other than the articles that are talking about the Corys. Like, it's not like I found a ton of information about the club or, them as people in their prime. Nothing. I mean, it was just.
Well, I mean, these are, masters of media. They have the capability, which sucks, which is counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
Right.
At least we got his name out there. At least we know what the motherfucker did.
Facts. So rude, Vega.
Yeah, a big one. All right. So here is a clip of Judy Haim talking to Dr. Oz about Corey Haim's experience with one of the accused. Two of the accused.
What do you think about these allegations that he was raped when he was age 13?
I know what's going on out there with what everybody is saying. And I can tell you as a mother that I haven't seen one change in character. I would have known if anything was wrong. My kid had nothing. He was like transparent. He never hid anything. He was Corey. It's out of character. That's number one. When my son was 13, he's not going to go and ask Charlie Sheen to go and sleep with him. I have to tell you that this guy is the guy that abused my son.
All right. So that was Judy talking to Dr. Oz. You heard it there.
Judy.
I want to point out that so she was just talking about Dominic, and upon researching Judy is the first time I had ever heard Dominic. I was looking for the Charlie Sheen angle. What I think is interesting, and this comes in a little later, is that she was questioning the truth of the Sheen story by saying, she said, why would he go up to Sheen and ask him to have sex? So anyway, so she was questioning the truth about that because she was, in my opinion, she was looking at it from a different angle, or from the wrong angle. But anyway, Judy is an Israeli-born data processor. She has two kids, Carol and Corey. Feldman released an email from her to Feldman as evidence that she knew about the molestation, and I think she had previously denied ever either knowing or that it happened at all. Anyway, so this is that email. Corey, I am sorry you were going through a hard time right now. I hope things will get better for you soon. I really do. Her punctuation sucks, BT dubs, and this whole thing is 2 sentences. me. Okay.
Take a deep breath.
I don't know how much you remember about Corey meeting him in the past few words where you said that Corey saw Dominic and wanted to meet him. Corey, don't forget that my son and I told each other everything except the molestation part which I wish he would have done. Dominic was your friend in your circle. Corey met him through you. It's not like Dominic was so great and my Corey wanted to meet him. You made him sound like he was somehow interested in meeting Dominic. Corey, don't forget that I know what went down every step I was there. Dominic was a big fat pig. Scott Grimes and all you guys hung out with him, and when Dominic heard that Corey and I got the apartment on Moore Park, he decided to move and be our across the hall neighbor. Corey hated him all along, and one of the reasons Corey acted out and didn't want to be in Busted is because he wanted to walk on the set and saw that you hired Dominic to be in the movie. Corey couldn't believe you did that. He couldn't stand him, let alone being on the same on a set with him, and that's why he said that's it. There's no way that you didn't know that part because you never told anyone about this fact. All you told people is that Corey was on drugs and you had to fire him once again, making yourself look good and Corey look bad. Corey don't know everything about Corey, and if you do, you are not saying it like it is.
Oh, goodness.
And time. She's very succinct with her emails. Anyway, so she's not denying that Corey Haim was raped, but she does state that Haim told each other everything. She did say about the except for the molestation part, but it's probably not true either. If my mother tells you that I tell her everything before, if I go before her, do not believe her. But it's interesting that she blames Feldman for Dominic raping him. She says that he's the one that contacted him and he's the one that facilitated it.
Yeah.
And Corey, I think Feldman denied at one point that Dominic did anything to him. However, I think that they're probably both right. I think that the shame that Haim felt because this happened to him by more than one person, he probably felt the guilt and felt guilt and shame, thinking that he was the common factor and therefore it was his fault, or common denominator, and that it was his fault. And so, whereas he needed to get out and talk to people about it, he probably didn't tell everybody every single aspect,
right?
Which makes sense.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he was supposed to be this like stud for all these like young girls and teenagers, and I feel like he just had such a persona, and it was probably, especially when he found out later, like, this is not okay, this is not supposed to be happening, that it would be like a hard hit, like a blow to your psyche, your confidence. I don't know, like, wow.
When people tell you, yeah, when people tell you you're such a big deal, and then this shit is still happening to you.
Yeah. Well.
It's Rutabaga.
Yep. So Dominic Brasha.
Brasha.
I wrote it down because that was
gross,
one I
ugly, disgusting pig of a man.
Newman. He looks like Newman from Seinfeld.
But worse.
Yeah. So well known for films like Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, My Life as a Troll, and Evil Laugh. Those all sound like they describe him. Evil Laugh, Life as a Troll. So it says he was catapulted into the limelight, becoming forever entangled in this tale of the two Coreys after he went on to claim on the National Enquirer that Corey Haim had been raped when he was 14 in the 1986 set of the film Lucas. The story was obviously like a shocker, and Brasha claimed that before Haim died in 2010, that he had told him about it. Not in 2010, that's when Corey died. Haim told me that he had sex with Sheen when they filmed Lucas. He told me that they smoked pot and had sex. They had anal sex. Haim said after it happened, Sheen became very cold and rejected him. When Corey wanted to fool around again, Charlie was not interested. Brasha told the Enquirer, adding that they had sex again in a few years, and Haim had told him that when he did have sex with Sheen, that he claimed he didn't like it and was finally over Sheen, that Charlie was a loser. Still sounds like a kid. Yeah. Claimed he didn't like it and was finally over him. So Haim had been dead for more than 7 years when this controversy sparked, and they thought it was kind of distasteful of Brasha, who didn't have like a super huge or great acting career and was kind of fading. He did go on to do a radio show, and he died when he was 60 of natural causes.
And I kind of think it's, considering the alleged relationship between he and Haim, I think it's probably, I'm dubious about Haim opening up to him about other abuses and being the guy that he told, you know?
yeah, I feel like I don't like the way they said distasteful, you know? Like, I don't feel like telling the truth is distasteful. You know, I don't
That's not
understand.
No, I don't think that's a distasteful part, but I think that he's probably I think that he was trying to shock himself into relevance, or shock the public into his relevance. And I think that was
also
probably
think we
the
said this in a previous attempt, that he probably also was trying to, I think he probably knew Corey was getting ready to name some names and get some stuff out there, and he was trying to avert attention. I might go down, but I ain't going down alone, kind of thing.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
So.
Or yeah, getting ahead of the story.
Yeah, and that's really what it felt like. So, yeah. Ugh. I just feel like it's just so clear that these kids didn't realize it was abuse, like the way he said that, like Charlie's a loser, like that was just what they did, and he didn't realize it was wrong, and it was just like talking about a girl, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like it just makes my skin just crawl and my blood pressure skyrocket even more thinking about it. And I made note, you had posted a handful of pictures of all the different accused and little screenshots from movies and stuff, but there was one that's not in it that I want to add, and it's just a snapshot from the film Lucas, and it's Charlie Sheen and Corey Haim and a girl, I can't remember her name, but the way Corey's looking at him with like googly eyes, it's just like, it's extra disturbing to me, knowing what I know about what was happening to him at that very time in life. Oh, it's just pitiful and disgusting. And yeah, so Dominic Brasha, yuck, another big yuck.
So Charlie Sheen.
Charlie.
Carlos Erwin Estevez, born September 3rd, 1965, known professionally as Charlie Sheen, is an American actor. He has appeared in films such as Platoon, 86, Wall Street, 87, Young Guns, 88, 8 Men Out, 88, Major League, 89, Hot Shots, 91, and The Three Musketeers in 93. Beyond the tabloid stories about his fondness for a night with a sex worker, allegations against the star include that he was an abusive, threatening, and dismissive husband who watched disturbing pornography. Provided everybody is a consenting adult human, watch. Yes, human. Watch whatever you want to watch. Be as disturbing as you want. I let your freak flag fly.
Yes.
He's also been accused of having strange beliefs about vaccinations and making anti-Semitic statements. Perhaps most bizarrely, Sheen's also been accused of lying about being Jewish to get out of being called racist. The Two and a Half Men star has vehemently denied the claims that were leveled at him by Haim's friend Corey Feldman. Haim would go on to allege that he was sexually assaulted on the set of Lucas by an unnamed person. In Lucas, Sheen plays Cappy Rowe, an older student and mentor to Lucas, who was played by the then 13-year-old Corey Haim. Niece Richards, Sheen's ex-wife and mother of his 2 children, alleges that she discovered Sheen was accessing gay pornography sites, which, cool. I mean, if you want to watch gay porn, watch gay porn. As long as everybody is a consenting adult human.
Human adult.
But what she said was even more disturbing, was that she felt that the boys looked underaged. I mean, porns kind of do that sometimes intentionally, and they're not, but that's still... during his famous online rant, Sheen claimed that he had tiger blood, and in a TV interview said, "I'm tired of pretending I'm not special. I'm tired of pretending I'm not a total bitch rock star from Mars." Yeah. Bitchin'. Feldman alleged that Haim told him that Charlie Sheen raped him on the set of the 86 film Lucas. At the time, Sheen was 18 or 19, and Haim, who died at the age of 38 in 2010, was 13. Feldman aired the details of the allegations in his self-funded documentary, My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys. Sheen reportedly used Crisco oil as a lubricant, the film alleged.
Why did he have that? Why did he even have that in his trailer? What the fuck?
I think for the same reason that we're repeating it, is that it's you need to be shocked into fucking getting mad about this. You can't be glossed over. It has to be ugly.
You can't, just because it hurts your feelings, just because it's ugly to think about, just because you might have your own kids, doesn't mean that these kids don't matter. It doesn't mean you should turn your back because it makes you uncomfortable. It should make you feel uncomfortable.
The shit is ugly.
It should outrage you. Just like everything else going on should enrage you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's why
Talk about it.
Haim had previously talked about being sexually assaulted on the set of Lucas, saying in a 2008 interview he was very awake and very ashamed during the alleged incident. He says, "I was just coming into Hollywood, man. I was just a horny little kid, like on drugs, getting fed drugs by vampires." He says, "I still blame myself to an extent, but my conscience is much, much more clear. I have come to terms with this a long time ago, but obviously not totally." So he obviously has shown health. And what I was saying earlier about him blaming himself, especially because it happened so many different times to him that, you know, he thought that he was the problem. He says, "Stuff happens when you're a kid. It scars you inside for life." Haim did not name Sheen during that interview. The Los Angeles Police Department looked into the claims after Feldman filed them in 2017. The case was dropped due to the expired statute of limitations. Since we discussed his friendship with the man in the last episode, this is what Feldman said of Michael Jackson posthumously. Feldman said last year that he can no longer defend the late singer. "I don't want to be perceived as I'm here to defend Michael Jackson because I can no longer do that. I cannot in good consciousness defend anyone who's being accused of such horrendous things," he said during an appearance on CNN's Headline News. "But at the same time, I'm also not here to judge him because, again, he did not do those things to me, and that was not my experience." Feldman also insisted that absolutely nothing inappropriate ever happened between him and Jackson. We encourage everybody to stay to listen to the very end of this because we have a clip from a video that we mentioned up top called "Me, Myself, and I" by Corey Haim. It looks like a propaganda video for his brand. Him just a day in the life of Corey Haim for, you know, his fangirls and shit, and I guess fan men.
Yeah. It looked like a commercial. Now that I think about it, kind of looked like a weird creepy
recruiting
commercial,
right? Yeah.
Oh God. It's
fucking gross.
43 minutes, and if you're interested in this topic at all, I think it's worth a watch because there's a lot of really odd things said. You're reminded, obviously, as a child, and just the nervousness, the fidgeting. He feet up on the couch, he's not even sitting like proper. Like, it's just it's interesting. It's definitely worth a watch.
It looks and feels like he's trying to internally retreat from the message, and what he says in it sounds exactly like something that was said to him when he was being groomed.
Yes. And the only time he's like super confident is like he's like, it's obviously scripted, and that's when he's comfortable reading the script, doing what he knows how to do. And other than that, it's painful. When you know what you know, it's painful.
Yeah, so, and he's addressing a question that says it was something about how kids. What do you say to kids who are in a hard situation, or kids growing up with? I forget. Just growing up and the difficulties thereof. And yeah, that's the question he's answering, and it's really fucked up. Anyway,
it is.
Before we do that, where can you listen to us?
Yeah, so first you could check out our totally awesome website. It's pretty all-inclusive, gives you a lot of good links. There's a sweet blog. You can directly listen to episodes there, or you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you love. Is just good. It's a good place to be.
Yes, it is. Fun stuff. It's green and it has the logo of Katie and I podcasting our little hearts out with a little brain.
Being awesome.
He's smoking a bong. Did you know that brains can smoke bongs? Bongs can smoke brains too, but that's
Bongs
That's
can smoke
violent.
brains. Brains and bongs. Bongs and brains.
Anyway, so this has been the Higher Minds podcast. I'm Papa Darby.
Yes. I'm Katie.
Here's Corey Haim. Deuces.
Bye.
Yeah, if I had a special kind of a message to say to fans, probably be stay on course. It's a hard. There's so many obstacles in life, and just it might hurt, it might feel great one minute. There's a lot of feelings while you're growing up. There's a lot of questions you have while you're growing up, and if you take things slow, everything will be answered, and everything should work out fine as long as you keep in touch with yourself.